Hello, folks. Welcome back to Left and Right with my amiable partner here, Tom McLaughlin from Lovell, Maine. Gino Funicello, the raconteur, the man about town, Jackson aficionado, and an occasional stop at Peaches when other people come around to have breakfast. Here we are.
Mad because I didn't show up.
Well,
this
it's
morning
okay. He was shoveling snow, this poor man. Here we are in the far northeast, away from humanity and society and all things good. But there are some good points about the neighborhood. We get to vote earlier than everybody else, and then we can talk about what everybody else did afterwards.
Oh, you mean in New Hampshire?
Yes,
Okay.
Hampshire.
All right, yeah.
March the 2nd, 2016. Wonderful. And we've got some really sparkling information from our producer and show that wanted us to discuss today. And basically what we'll do is talk a little bit about the Republican and Democratic delegate counts and notable things that went on yesterday in the SEC, which is that group of states that voted on Super Tuesdays, or what do they call it?
SEC?
Well, that's Southeast Conference. They're the same states that are in the Southeast Conference of the
okay.
Football League.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah, most of
coincidence?
them. I think that's why they call it SEC. If you see them calling it SEC.
Okay, they borrowed the term from football.
Not
Okay.
all of them, but some of them.
All right.
Anyway, what do you think?
What do I think about
you got some
yesterday?
numbers here. What do you think?
Well, I was more gloomy going in than I was seeing it. I didn't stay up and wait till I came in last night. I started snoring at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so this morning I got up and that's what I was doing and checking it out on my computer, and I see that, okay, Cruz had to win Texas and he won Texas. He wasn't really expected to win anything else. He
was tight in Oklahoma.
Arkansas was tight, and Oklahoma, I guess, was tight, but there were some of us who were worried that he would get blown away, and even in his home state, because some polls indicated that Trump was ahead there. Not many, but so that did not happen, and I'm happy about that. Now, Trump, I guess we're supposed to comment on here is, do we think it's a done deal? Is Trump unstoppable? Is Hillary unstoppable? I'll take Hillary first, I think. Unless something else develops, something else breaks. I mean, the woman has a very shady past. There's all sorts of things going on, all sorts of investigations. There are two congressional investigations. And then there's the FBI is investigating, and then there's an Inspector General investigation as well. So there are 4 investigations, and something could come from any one of those at any time. So Bernie is not out of it because of that. But otherwise, I think he is. Otherwise, I think he is.
So you think Bernie's gone, and what were your ruminations about the...
I didn't say he's completely gone, no.
Well,
I said,
more
but
or
because this is a race that, I guess it would compare maybe, not quite as crazy as 1968 was. I mean, you're old enough to remember that race, okay? Sure. I was a junior in high school. Yeah. When that was going on.
Bobby Kennedy was assassinated.
Well, yeah, he entered the race right about this time of year, in March. And he did it because McGovern scored better than expected, not McGovern, but McCarthy, better than expected in the New Hampshire primary. And he saw, and he had, LBJ was running for re-election. He was an incumbent Democrat president. But of course, the Vietnam War was going on, and the opposition started to coalesce around first McCarthy, and then Kennedy said, oh, well, I can jump in here, and I can take this away from him. And he did. He jumped in March. And then he was shot by a Muslim radical in 1968 in the hotel when he was just about to step up and give his victory speech in the California primary. So it looked like that guy was going to become the Democrat nominee for president. And so what happened? He was killed in June, and then, the race is all up in the air.
Right. So what the Republicans
So that could happen again. Stuff like, I'm not saying assassination.
No. I can understand,
other things that could, say...
Here's what we're heading for, though, okay? And let me get a couple minutes in on this thing. the Democratic, other than act of God or something like that, a fire in a theater, whatever, Hillary Clinton's going to win easily, the nomination, I should say.
An act of God.
Well, that's what you're talking about.
I think
with,
it was
with
her
Bobby,
own actions coming back to bite her in the butt.
Yeah, well,
That's what it is.
You can say that, but until they're slamming the door on her in jail, I won't believe it. Anyway, I mean, this is all Breitbart crap. Anyway,
Leavenworth is ready for Hillary.
Let me look at the Republican booby hatch. Mr. Cruz wins two states.
He
that
talks about the other political
well,
party.
let's look at
I mean,
Cruz.
he's worse than Trump.
Rubio actually is in better shape than Cruz because Cruz passed Texas and Oklahoma. Any states where they've hung up their white sheets for a while, they're closed to him now. That's all done.
What?
Now he has. Now
what
he
are
has,
you saying?
I'm just saying something bad about Cruz because you think that it's okay to say bad about Hillary Clinton. I'll say something bad about Cruz. I think the man's a madman. But anyway, he's got 161 delegates right now. Rubio, who has actually a better shot to beat Cruz.
No way.
Surprisingly.
No way.
Well, surprisingly.
He's got half the delegates.
I know, but that's one night. Rubio may, by hanging around
No,
second
it
and
isn't
third.
one night.
Can I just exude my?
I can't let you say these
Well,
things
you
that
have
are
to,
erroneous,
because then you
Gino,
can
and
comment.
remain silent
Then
and
you can-
act as though I agree.
Then you, I don't think you agree. I know most people would think you agree.
Wasn't one night.
The whole point is, from the analysis I saw last night, Mr. Rubio, even after this disaster, I think all he won was the caucus in Minnesota or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though he has got somewhat of a more centrist position, so he's going to attract centrist voters, while Mr. Cruz is going to attract nobody because those craziest of crazy voters are all going to Trump. Once they're out of the born-again era in the Southeast Conference, which I call it, Mr. Rubio is going to accelerate past Mr. Cruz and will be in second place for the nomination. Actually, Cruz is the one that should, when you look at the numbers, drop out. But you know what? That's okay. You can note that. Mr. Carson should go back to being a neurosurgeon. Just get out of the way. Kasich, forget it. He came in second or won in Vermont. Waste of time. Rubio, possibilities because he's more moderate at least. Cruz.
What do you mean possible? Because you want a
No,
more
I'm
moderate
just saying,
person. Not because the Republicans want a more
No,
moderate
they don't want
person.
him. No,
they don't.
As a group,
Clearly.
they don't. No, as a group, they don't. But
No.
he fills in the 34 or 35 or 40% of Republicans who are more moderate. What we're looking at with
That's
Trump.
what you think. That's what you think there are that many. I don't think there are.
Okay. Well, when they see, I guess 60% of the Republicans that voted in New Hampshire said they wanted to ban Muslims from coming into the country. So I guess you could be right. But anyway, Trump is leading well ahead. He's going to be first or second all the way down the line. The only way they're going to stop him now is they're going to have to stop him at the nomination process.
Well, of course, that's what the whole thing is going. You mean, are you talking about convention when you say the nomination process?
Yeah, that's what they call the convention.
The convention is in July. Here we are in March.
Mm-hmm.
They front load. The Republican Party decided to front load, that is, have more primaries earlier so that a nominee could be cemented in and have more months to attack the Democrat. But it's backfired because they didn't think it was going to be somebody like Trump, or they didn't think it was going to be somebody like Cruz. Washington establishment people. Now, by that I mean Mitch McConnell, Reince Priebus, Paul Ryan, and all of the rest of the Republican so-called leadership, alleged leadership in Washington and Congress. They would prefer Trump. You know why? Because Trump, they figure, well, they can deal with Trump.
Of course they can.
Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. He's talking about, I will negotiate a deal, a tremendous deal, an amazing deal. That's all he says.
Tremendous
about
wall.
His solution to every problem is, I will negotiate a tremendous deal because I know how to do. No specifics. Nothing.
Naturally.
I mean, except for his tax program. No specifics.
So can we jump off a bridge here and say you do
Cruz, on the other
not
hand,
support Trump?
Cruz puts out his whole, not only a philosophy, but a
absolutely.
detailed plan for
Absolutely.
every issue. And it is a conservative plan. And that's what your side doesn't like. Your side doesn't want to see Hillary Clinton or whomever, face an actual conservative. And Marco Rubio, excuse me,
that's okay.
is not a complete conservative because of one big issue, the elephant in the room, that you only
Immigration.
briefly alluded to and only
Immigration.
partially alluded to, immigration.
Exactly.
Yes, that issue is the biggest issue
Sure.
in this campaign,
Sure.
and in North America and in Europe. Your side, the multiculturalist elite,
People that like other people of
are
color, you mean.
crumbling.
Is that what a multiculturalist is? Someone who likes someone else of color?
A
Is that a
multiculturalist
multiculturalist?
is
I'm just
someone
trying to
who's.
know.
I'll define the
No,
term
well,
for
on
you.
your next turn, it's my turn.
Wait a minute.
You used up 2 minutes. They just went through the thing. We have
You
to
asked me a
because
question.
we have to jump in.
Make sure you ask me
No,
that
no, I
question
won't
again.
ask you
If you
that.
don't, are you pretending not
Let's
to know
not
what
waste
that
time.
is?
Hey,
Or
we
do
had a
you
question
really
here.
not know?
Top management.
He's avoiding. See, folks,
No,
he's
no,
avoiding.
I'll be back on that. When the Republican convention arrives, it's my turn to speak actually, but this is a non-timed issue. Yeah, we'll just go back on here. 1 second.
We're not timing this 2 minutes each
No, because this is
from
kind
the
of a-
producer, and we don't know what's in
Yeah,
here.
we don't know what's in it. We have no idea. This is top management. Top management just when the Republican convention arrives, is it possible that no Republican candidate will have enough delegates to claim the party's nomination?
Yes, it is a possibility. It is a possibility. I mean, there's a movement right now to put for the rest of the field to clear out behind one candidate to oppose Trump,
Right.
and hopefully win the nomination. So that would mean that if there are only two, that although actually some are committed to vote for Carson, committed to vote for Kasich, committed to vote for others, but no, they're not superdelegates.
No.
That's only your party has that. They are delegates that were won by those candidates. Now those candidates can. I don't know how those rules work. Can they say, I want my delegates all to vote for Cruz or for Trump? But are they then bound to because the candidate they were bound to tells them so? I don't know those rules. Right? That's a detail that will be interesting and be a factor in this race. But if the field remains as big as it is, it's more possible because Trump has to get a majority of the delegates.
But it appears
not just most of them.
No, it appears that there is probably no possibility. There is a possibility that could happen, but it's very doubtful because if Rubio should lose when he gets to Florida in 2 weeks, that's the 15th.
That's it.
Trump's got
It's
a
over.
40-point lead or something in Florida. So once they get to Florida, Rubio, who's just
How
won.
embarrassing is that?
It's very embarrassing, but it happened to
It's
a
not
lot.
like he's splitting the vote with Bush anymore.
The problem is, see, then Rubio will probably have to leave, but he probably won't. He'll hang on and hang on and hang on.
Why?
Why? I don't know. Call it what?
Because he's
hubris?
pro-immigration. That's
Whatever
why.
it is,
That's
hubris.
the
It
issue.
doesn't matter.
That
It's
is the issue.
I consider it hubris, okay? When you're down 36-0 in a football game with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, it's time to sit your quarterback down, okay? But they're not going to do that because this is a Republican Party, okay? This is people who you've got one guy, Rubio, who seems to be a little moderate, but is very, very conservative to someone like me, a liberal. You've got another guy, Senator Cruz, who's been a senator just long enough.
Senator Cruz now.
Senator
all
Cruz,
of a sudden.
just in Washington long enough as a senator to decide, I did a hell of a good job as a senator. Now I'm going to be president, and God is behind me.
Like Obama did.
His wife said, "You'll see the face of God in Cruz." Well, you know what? I'm missing something here. Trump running away with it with his majestic plans and all his utopian ideas.
He doesn't claim he's going to lower the levels of the
out
ocean
here.
all by himself,
Trump
like
is
your guy did.
out of his mind, and yet he's leading this pack of fools called the Republican Party now. And there isn't one, by the way, there's not one senator, I think, in Washington that supports Cruz. He has no support among them. They're going to decide. I don't know what's going to happen when Trump gets the convention, and they try to take it away. Just think of what can happen.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
of what,
A
he'll
lot
go
of
out and
things
have
could
a
happen.
third party,
Yeah.
and Hillary Clinton
Yeah,
will
he
win by
will.
25%. You won't even have to watch TV.
Yes, if
Okay?
that's the way it went down.
He's gonna beat
if the convention nominates somebody else because of some kind of
Yeah.
maneuvers between now and
Right.
then Trump, the ego that he is not going to be wanting to bow out, even though he said he would.
Yeah.
He'd support
Yeah,
the nominee of the
exactly. Yeah,
party.
they say a lot of
took
things.
the pledge, so to speak. He's a
Here's
politician.
a-
He says, I'm not a politician.
Here's the
Well,
thing,
guess
though.
what? He is a politician.
You believe in your heart of hearts that you get to the convention and Trump's the guy. Okay, Trump's the guy.
God help us.
Now, a guy who
Yeah.
actually quotes Mussolini, looks a lot in his activity and his did not condemn the
With a
KK
pompadour,
Klan.
with an orange pompadour,
Ku Klux
Mussolini,
Klan,
who was bald, right?
Oh, who are you talking about? I don't know.
Mussolini was bald.
No, wait, let me finish. I don't know David Duke, he said. I didn't even know the guy. What else did he do? He's done so many other things. He's going to build a wall, this grandiose wall that's going to be, he's going to make it 10 feet higher. I mean, cursing people out. I can't even. Now, this guy you think is going to be against, say, Hillary Clinton, head to head. With his background, how many independent voters across this country do you think are going to jump out of their skivvies to run and rush for Donald?
Nobody knows. You know that, Gino?
He'll go
Nobody
down-
knows what's going to happen.
believe me.
By the way, you notice how they focus a lot on, how first he says 3 times that I renounce David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan. I disavow him. He said that to 3 different media outlets. But guess what? The media is owned by your side.
Oh,
and
please.
And Trump is
That isn't true at all.
absolutely
How can you
is
say that?
true. I've been
That is-
saying it for 5
You
years.
can say
Gino.
it, but it ain't true.
You deny it. It's
What did ABC,
absolutely
what did
true.
CBS, the president of CBS, say the other day? What did he say?
Guess who the president of CBS's
I don't-
brother is?
I don't
he's,
care who's-
he's Obama's advisor.
Wait, let me finish a statement. The president of
I thought it
CBS
was my
talking
turn.
to, no, it's not. This is free
Oh,
for-
not time?
talking to a group of individuals at a conference, said, even though, I'm paraphrasing, even though it isn't good for the United States, what's going on is good for CBS because they're making tons and tons of money on advertising. And you know what? The funny part about it is they're not making it from Trump. They're making it from people like Jeb Bush, $100 million spent for 4% of the vote.
The president of CBS is named Rhodes. I can't remember his first name. Ben Rhodes, who wrote the talking points for Susan Rice and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama about Benghazi,
Yeah.
he is the brother of this guy.
So?
They cooperate, they talk to each
Oh,
other.
come on.
They,
This is, you can't-
CBS, ABC,
You're gonna
NBC, and MSNBC and CNN, they are in the pocket
Oh,
of the
my
Democrats.
God. I can't believe that.
90% of the White House correspondents for those
jeez.
organizations vote Democrat.
You know, you
The-
don't know that for a
Yes,
fact.
I do know
How
that.
do you know it for a fact? You follow them into the booth? Do I know how you really
They
vote?
say it. They
Oh,
were
come on.
polled,
This is
and
so-
they
no, this is so
have
bizarre.
said
This
it.
is Breitbart.
You don't.
This is
Gino,
all Breitbart.
These are facts.
They're
that
not
you
facts.
don't. You deny
They're
because
assimilated thoughts.
Because this is how Barack Obama got into office. You say that Trump was asked about David Duke, says I don't know the guy. Well, Barack Obama was asked about Bill Ayers, and he said, I don't know the guy.
No,
He's
he
just
said-
an English
that
professor
isn't
that
what he
lives in my
said.
neighborhood. Those are his exact words.
He was
and
on
guess
a
what?
board with them.
He was on the board with him. He was in his living room when he launched his state
right.
senate
And he also
campaign.
blew up buildings.
Bill Ayers wrote one of his books for him.
Do you know when
and
Bill Ayers-
he said he lied, Gino.
Yeah, you're also-
he lied. I don't know the guy.
Just because somebody is
How
wait
come
a minute,
that
wait a minute. You know,
how
you're
come
going up.
CBS didn't go after Barack Obama with that?
What
You
are
know
you
why?
talking-
Because they're in the tank for
I
him.
see.
That's
How come
why.
the Republican Party didn't go after Obama and put him in court like they wanted to? Huh?
What?
How come they didn't impeach? How come the
Because they
Republican
haven't
Party
got any
didn't
cojones,
impeach?
that's why.
Oh, I see.
Because the
But they didn't have
Republican
cojones,
Party
but
is,
so much.
is a
Do you know how
collection of
old-
wimps.
Do you know how old Barack Obama was when Bill Ayers was in the Weather Underground? Do you know how old he was?
Gino,
About
I've heard
6.
that. I've heard all
Oh,
that
you-
smoke
well,
screen
you
on
know
your
what?
side that your side puts up. He
you can't-
lied. He knew
Oh,
Ayers
my
very
God.
well.
And let's
very
say
well.
Republicans
I
never
knew him
lied.
for years.
Republicans
and he
never
was
lie.
a terrorist. Bill Ayers was a bombing, left-wing, revolutionary terrorist.
That meant
so is his wife.
And he sat in a room with Barack Obama.
He blew up buildings. His wife killed policemen.
So Barack Obama, QED, that Barack Obama. Wait a minute. Let me take that one step further. Barack Obama then went out and blew up buildings. Isn't that what you're making with the equation? A plus B equals what? X?
He denied knowing him. I don't know the guy, said Barack Obama.
No, he didn't. He said he was on some kind of a
that's what
panel.
He said. Look it up.
Okay, I'll look it up. Yeah, I can't
He's just an English professor that lives in my neighborhood.
That's 7 years ago. You haven't impeached him yet. You haven't brought him to trial yet. Come back when it happens.
Gino, you don't
they
like
hate
facts
the man.
Are stubborn
you know
things,
what?
aren't they, Gino?
I'll tell you what.
Facts are stubborn things.
He has done some things that are very good. Okay.
Oh, he has?
Yeah.
Name one.
Name one?
Yeah.
$1.61 for gas now.
It's not his.
$4.64 when he became
president.
president.
To do with that.
Oh, I see. How about the unemployment rate? 4.7%.
Because
when he came in, it was 10%.
Doesn't count the 90 million people who are out of the workforce that he pushed out, or he doesn't count part-timers because of Obamacare.
Stock market is 7,000 when we came in. Now it's 16 to 17,000.
Yeah, because the Federal Reserve has lowered interest rates to almost nothing, so people borrow money for nothing and they buy stocks instead of investing in the economy. That's why. Because Janet Yellen, he appointed her because that's what he knew she'd do.
All you guys do on the right is play a name game. You
no,
pick a
Gino,
name,
we deal in
let
facts.
me finish. You pick a name out of a hat like Janet Yellen or some other woman. They do total investigations on them, come up with nothing, and for 2 years later, you're still talking. No, you're still talking
like
about
the 5 congressional investigations of Benghazi that never even interviewed Hillary Clinton? Those kinds of investigations. Or like the alleged investigations of the IRS.
I see, yeah. Well, you know something? They're investigating Hillary Clinton now. The FBI, they're going through 75,000 emails, okay? They just dumped the last load of 25 or 30,000 emails. You've got nothing, but you're dying to find something.
You forgot the 30,000 that she trashed and that the FBI managed to resurrect by going to this server, this extra service. They know, the FBI has those. How come we're not hearing about them?
I don't know.
Oh, because they're all about her yoga classes and her daughter's wedding plans.
Let's go on to something really.
You believe that, Gino?
Let me begin a fun topic here.
Believe that, huh?
I don't understand.
Your candidate is a liar, and the world knows it.
All right, okay. All right, that's true. That's good. She's a liar.
You bet she is.
You know,
and I put that right to her face.
Funny. All right, let me take 2 minutes here, and then you can go on with your topics. Judge Scalia, that lion of the Supreme Court, I may say lion,
L-I-O-N.
Spain, L-I-O-N, tremendous man, dies on a dude ranch somewhere in central Texas, 15,000-acre dude ranch or something, with a bunch of dudes. He goes down there because he belongs to a society.
We're timing you now.
It's called it's called the Society of Saint Hubertus, which is an Austrian hunting club that was started in the 1600s in Austria. And if I may be so, now
Catholic.
Everybody knows, or somebody should know, that Scalia's father basically was a Nazi sympathizer. He was during the 30s into the early 40s.
Just like Joseph P. Kennedy.
Let me finish. It's a Scalia we're talking about, not Joe Kennedy. Scalia's father, he was an only child. His father belonged to the Nazi Bund. He went to all these rallies in New York.
Just like Ted Kennedy's father did.
Let me finish. And then he joins us. Now the son joins this St. Hubertus Society. Its most famous member in the 1940s was Hermann Goering, Reichsfuhrer of Nazi Germany.
Where are you going with this?
These are the kinds of people that our friend, the lion of the Supreme Court.
Let's get to the lead, Gino.
The lead is, I think, Scalia, in some of his results of his decisions, showed a nice penchant for Nazism. Just an opinion.
Name one of his decisions that was Nazi, that was fascist. Name one.
I think he did some pretty good jobs, like the
like what?
Citizens United. Citizens United was Nazism.
Oh.
It was a decision. Wait a minute, let me finish it. You gave me the into it. It was decided.
Don't put this on my time.
No. He was decided by the Citizens United.
You didn't let me define multiculturalism.
Well, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Oh, we will,
Citizens United decided that billionaires basically had a right, as an individual corporation, to buy elections. That's basically what
No,
Citizens
that isn't
United.
it, Gino.
Okay.
They had the same
became
rights
more-
as unions, the
they,
Democrat.
Yeah, well, they had the same rights as citizens.
When are you going to stop talking?
Right now.
Oh, good.
Go ahead. Let's hear something good from you. Go ahead. You want to
Citizens
talk
United-
about multiculturalism? That's what you
You're
said.
going to stop talking. you
Okay.
said.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You're
go
on.
like this, Gino.
You're on.
Good. Citizens United gave businesses and individuals the same rights that unions have when they donate to the Democrat Party. That's what Citizens United did.
Sure.
And also it allowed them to buy time to counteract the left-wing media
I
that
see.
you deny exists. That's what was good about Citizens United, and that's why your side hates it. That's
ain't
why
it wrong?
Barack Obama in his State of the Union address will chastise those Supreme Court justices that supported it while they're sitting in the front row and cannot answer him. That's why he does that. Your side, and there's a ruling before the Supreme Court, there's a case before the Supreme Court that is going to make it, well, no longer mandatory for teachers and other government employees to donate to public employee unions, which are the backbone of the Republican,
bad
the
Scalia
Democrat
died. It
Party.
would've
That's where
flown
they
through.
get most of their money.
It would've
And they had a
flown
nice
through.
monopoly, owning the media, owning the unions, and then shutting off, and then having campaign finance limits that were applied only to conservatives and Republicans. Citizens United overturned that. And then this decision that's pending before the Supreme Court out of California is going to, it looked like it was going to pass. Now that
No,
Scalia's
no, now
dead,
that
I'm not
Scalia's
sure
gone.
what's going to happen now. Multiculturalism.
Yeah,
what
go
it
ahead.
means,
You've only got 20
Gino,
seconds. You get time.
is the idea that all cultures are equal. No matter that they cut people's heads off, no matter that they rape women, no
Oh,
matter
that's not-
that they believe in killing anyone who doesn't want to
Oh, my
become a
God.
Muslim, all those, not letting women drive, not letting women go outside the house unless they're in the company of an adult male relative, that none of, all cultures are equal. No one is any better than any other, except ours, except Western civilization, and they are evil. That's what that's the idea of multiculturalism.
Well, let me just digress.
And it
after you-
is
you've had your 2 minutes.
erroneous.
You've had your 2 minutes. Here's what he just said. He took the worst members of every other society that he thinks of as miserable and blames the whole society for the acts of a few. You blame all Muslims for a World Trade Center. You blame all Muslims
right.
for ISIS. You blame all Mexicans, according to our boy Mr. Trump, for rapes and pillage and everything else. You know,
No, I didn't
you
do that,
can't.
Gino.
Well, no, he did. Your people, your Republican Party. Okay, and here's the point: just because a person lives in Syria doesn't make them a terrorist. It doesn't make their whole family a terrorist. Just because a person lives in Palestine.
No, there used to be
doesn't
some
ma-
Christians,
no,
but they
the
got
point
beheaded.
Is, by saying what you said about multiculturalism and hating most people are as good as everybody else. The bad people show up in every form of human being, and you can't. You mean to tell me there are no bad Christians? I mean, the men that blew up the church with the little 13 girls in it back in the South, back in the 60s, they were probably right-wing
You're going to
Christians.
bring up the Crusades now?
No, but I'm saying, but you blame a whole population for the acts of a few.
Gino,
Multiculturalism.
I'm blaming-
Wait, let me finish this now.
How much time have you got left?
30 seconds.
This is torture.
When multiculturalism works at its best, we can accept flaws in a society, but we don't have to paint the whole society with the same brush. And that's exactly what you and Breitbart and the rest of these people do. You blame everybody for the sins of a few. I'm not blaming Scalia for every person that's Italian. I'm blaming Scalia for what he was. He was basically a Nazi adherent. And so is it Mr. Trump. And that's okay. Catch up with me now. You're on. Ooh.
Islam is a political system. It is a
a religion.
theocratic system that says that it must take over the world and kill anyone who resists. That is what Islam is. And it's been around for 1,400 years. Look at the history. This is what it has done. What we're seeing today, these depredations by ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas and Hezbollah, and I can go on and on and on. Those are typical of what has gone on for 1,400 years. They are not an aberration. They are not an anomaly. They are the backbone of Islam. The head of ISIS has a PhD in Islam. And Obama claims to know more than he does about Islam. The Islamic State of Iraq and Syria has nothing to do with Islam, says Barack Obama, who went to school in the 4th grade and learned Islam, knows more about it than this PhD in Islam, this al-Baghdadi, who is the head of ISIS. Gino, this is the problem, that Barack Obama denies.
We were talking about multiculturalism.
I'm saying that Islam is not equal to Western democracy as a culture. It is not.
Well, you can say
Western
that.
culture is superior to Islam. Now, you can call me a bigot, you can call me a racist, you can call me anything you want to. I study history, and I know that I know it by its fruits. It's not equal, Gino.
Okay,
and that's what multiculturalism says it is. And it paints as a bigot anyone who denies it, anyone who looks at the contradiction, the inherent contradiction within multiculturalism, and it is collapsing.
See, I don't. Go ahead. You got a couple of seconds. Okay.
I have a couple of seconds.
No, it's
you can have
time's
it.
up. You just lost it. All I'm saying is, by saying what you say, I don't care if it's even about Muslims. There is a group.
I just use them as an example. I can go on if you let me.
I have to keep it clear with this stuff because this is pretty heavy stuff.
Yes, it is.
There's a small group of Muslims, 1%, however many, follow the Quran.
20%.
Now let me, all right, whatever percent you say, I don't know where they get these percent, but there's a small percent, even 20%. I don't believe it, but you say. But there's a couple of billion people that are probably Muslim. I don't know how many. So you get 200 million.
1.5.
Okay. We've also got a group of right-wing Christians who are fanatical.
Yeah, they're all in jail.
Wait a minute. We've got right-wing Jewish people that are fanatical. We got right-wing Muslims that are fanatical. How come? You know something, the weird thing? It's always on the right. Why is that? You don't have to answer
You think
that.
it's
You can
on
answer
the
it
right?
in 2 minutes.
Well, then why?
Right-wing? They call them all right-wing.
Why is your side allied to them then, Gino? You're the left.
We're
You're
not
the
allied
left
to
and left
them.
and
We're
right here.
allied to good people. If the people are good, then they're accepted. Look, no one's
Every
bombed as-
Muslim that holds office in the United States is a Democrat, Gino.
And there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that? You're trying to paint.
You're
what
saying
you
that
just
they're
did-
right wing. They're
what
not
you
right
just-
wing.
No, what you just did is took this broad brush, and I'm saying fanatics.
Keith Ellison.
The fanatics are right wing. Okay, they're always right wing. They've been very left wing.
Not right wing.
Oh, wait a
They're
minute.
left wing.
Who do you? Let me finish my statement then. You try to paint every Muslim, Mexican, Spanish, this, that, the other thing, as bad for the culture. That they don't have a culture as strong as our culture.
No, they don't.
Well, that's idiotic. That's
It is?
idiotic. That's very now that is racist.
No, it
You
isn't.
can't say that every culture. Oh, wait a minute. You
No, it
can't
isn't.
mean this.
We're
This
talking
is
about
impossible.
cultures, not races.
So you're talking about other cultures are not at the standing of United States citizens' cultures? This culture? In this country?
I'm saying that
I don't know where this
ours
is going.
is a superior culture. I'm saying that there's no
Our
such thing
culture.
as multiculturalism, that all cultures are equal. That is a lie, because they are not equal.
Okay.
What measuring stick do you use to measure them? If you think that they're equal,
want
how
to
can, what evidence is there that they're equal? It's just an idea that somebody pulled out of the sky. And they teach it in college, and it ended up in the European Union Constitution. It is collapsing.
So
Even
we are-
Angela Merkel herself said that multiculturalism is collapsing. She said it, even though she's doing her best to hold it up. She said it's collapsing. It is collapsing.
So what you're saying, the melting pot that became the United States 200 years ago
It's
and
the
thereafter
opposite.
is only great and exceptional. Not because we accepted all these different people from the cauldron of the world. It's because we, as a nation, were exceptional. We are the culture. We're a culture
were.
of 40, 50,
We were.
100. We are a culture of hundreds
true.
of countries, Tom.
Yes.
We're not just a bunch of white Americans. The problem is, I think, and well, you've got a couple of seconds left, by the way. I don't want to take your time.
Because, yeah, and you just took, how many did
I
you
took
just
about 10
take?
seconds. Go ahead.
Because we inherited a democratic system, starting with the ancient Greeks, going up through the Romans, and up, and then continued by England in the Magna Carta, and now into the U.S. Constitution, because that is the heritage of Western civilization, supported by Christianity. This could not have evolved in Islamic countries, because democracy and Islam are antithetical. They cannot exist in the same place at the same time. The United States is the epitome of Western civilization. The Constitution of the United States is the best document ever written for governing human beings in any place. The Western civilization is based on an idea. It's not based on race.
Well, the idea, and I can take my time, the idea basically came from cultures that are now part of this multicultural society. That's where the idea came from. They took pieces.
Reject multiculturalism.
You reject multiculturalism. Don't reject the basis of where we all came from.
You said the melting pot. I support that.
This is a huge melting pot, and it always will be.
No.
In 20 years, it's going to be a brown country.
If it were, there'd be no problem.
What you and a lot of other right-thinking people, right-wing thinking people, want to do is you want to hold on to the old. That's basically what conservatives are. They're holding back the old, and they're eliminating.
I want to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. So help me God. That's what I want to do. What you're trying to do, preserve and protect the former status of the country when it was 95% white, but it never really was. It was an amalgamation of all these people from all around the world. You would scrap the Constitution, wouldn't you, Gino?
I wouldn't scrap. Why would I scrap the Constitution? Man, let me finish what I'm saying. You're cutting me off at the pass. You can do that when your time has come. I do believe that the thought that multiculturalism is bad for us is wrong, because I feel we've always been a multicultural society. Now, to be sure, back in the day, when Irish people came in, they were condemned and criticized. Chinese people, Russian people, all over the world, people that came here were put in menial jobs. We invented slavery in this country, okay? We brought slaves in.
We did not
We didn't invent it in the world. We invented it in this country. This country was supposed to be, wasn't a free country. We had slaves.
We did not invent it. They were brought into Jamestown in 1619.
Right, into America, which became America, and they were still
by the British, Gino.
They were still slaves until 1865.
That's correct.
So,
where does it still exist?
It exists all over the world.
In Islam.
Oh, okay, we're better than that. I understand.
Yes, we are, Gino.
Okay. Tell us how
we
much
are better
it
than
is
they are. And if you don't believe that, we're in big trouble.
I believe
and that is the problem.
I believe
that your side doesn't believe
I'm
that.
I'm speaking for myself. I don't care what they believe. I'm just saying I believe we are still a multicultural.
The Constitution of the United States of America is the greatest single document ever written for governing a country.
That's fine.
We are based on the idea that all humans are created equal. We haven't always lived up to that, as you pointed out.
Of course not.
Slavery was allowed to go on for another 80 years or so. That's unfortunate. We fought a civil war and we ended it, didn't we?
I don't know. Did that. Did we end it? Did we end it?
Yes, we did.
You're sure?
The 13th Amendment
when you listen to Donald Trump, you would soon believe.
You're interrupting me.
All right.
It's over, but it exists in Sudan, because Arab Muslims own black Christians. They still buy and sell them.
Yeah.
Look it up.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it for a minute.
Good. Greece is going crazy.
Greece is going crazy.
I was just there.
Slippery place.
I was just there when? I was there.
A year and a half ago?
Yeah, a year and a half ago. It was going crazy then, I could see. Now, it gets about 2,000 Muslims a day. They come into Greece, and they were on their way north. They were on their way to Germany, to the UK,
Bulgaria,
to Sweden. Nope. They didn't want to go. They just went through Bulgaria. Yeah. They didn't want to stay in Bulgaria. They were allegedly refugees from Syrian civil war, but some of them probably were, but the majority were not. What they wanted to do was to move into Europe. Why? Because there's a superior civilization there. They were getting away from their own, but they wanted to go on welfare. That's why in Calais, which is right at the entrance to the tunnel that goes under to the UK, there are riots going on. You know why? Because they don't want to stay in France. They want to go to the UK. Better benefits. And so they're rioting because they throw, if the food that comes in boxes that has a red cross on it, they refuse to eat it because they're Muslims. So, and they won't eat anything with a cross on it.
I think it's my turn. This is like, whew. Anyway.
Look it up, Gino. It's crumbling.
I'm trying to
Multiculturalism is falling apart. It never really existed
Cruz,
except as a stupid idea.
What the heck did Cruz do? He fired his team publicity director because the team director lied about Rubio and it said that Rubio isn't really a biblical type person. He also lied about Carson out in Iowa when he said they sent out memos that Carson had quit and now it was time to vote for what's his name, Cruz. He is lying. He's lying like a rug. Now, all these three guys, the three.
I sure am glad Hillary never lies.
The three leaders there basically accuse someone like Hillary Clinton of lying that everybody, including the FBI, is trying to prove. In the meantime, they go on national television, and they really did. Their debates,
You're funny.
Their debates have been
You're
a
funny.
disgrace to humanity. They really have been. I mean, have you ever seen a group of people calling each other liars like that? And on a world stage, you know what? Around the world. Now, if what you say is true, that we are this exceptional society, those poor unexceptional people out there.
If you like
that are
your doctor,
watching,
you can keep your doctor.
These are watching these people.
You like your policy, you can keep your policy.
They embarrass their country on national television, and all these supposedly unacceptable people that don't live in the U.S.
It was that film that was responsible for your death, the death of your son.
It's unbelievable. You know what? They should have had an autopsy for Scalia. I think that somebody murdered the guy. The more I read about it, the strange society he belonged to, I mean, I can't believe they didn't do an autopsy and that family didn't call for an autopsy. Here's a guy in perfect 80-year-old health, I guess, who goes up to hunt with a bunch of right-wing bigots and he dies. I don't understand it. Maybe
the right-wing bigots?
Maybe he wasn't bigoted enough. That could have been a
because
problem.
they belong to this organization that of Saint somebody from Hungary.
What was that book, that movie that was made about?
That makes them bigots.
That's
because
society.
They're Catholics.
Oh my God.
Is that it, Gino?
No. Just that
What
someone
makes
like
them bigots?
Someone like Herman Goering was the.
What makes them bigots, Gino?
What
You
makes
throw
them
these
bigots?
terms around, but you have no evidence.
Here's what I find.
No evidence at all.
I know that Scalia
I have
flew
evidence.
around the country
It's my turn.
in private
My turn.
planes owned by industrialists. That he was
Try
going to
being
vote.
quiet.
All right, go ahead. Okay. Take your time.
The New York Police
Enjoy.
Department will no longer, thanks to the communist mayor, that your side, allegedly Democrat, but really a communist, Mayor de Blasio, says you will no longer arrest people who are caught drinking alcohol in public in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
You will no longer arrest people who are caught urinating in public in New York City unless it is necessary for public safety reasons. They won't do this. Now, this is going exactly against what Rudy Giuliani and his police commissioner from Boston, I forget his name now.
Bratton?
Yes, Bill
Did
Bratton.
he go to jail? No.
No, he didn't. He went over to L.A. Now
The
he's
other
back
went
in
to
New York
jail.
City.
The other one did jail.
And the old broken windows theory, that if there's a broken window, you fix it very quickly, because if you don't, pretty soon all the other windows around it are going to be broken. That is, going after the squeegee people and come up for the windshield, strong-arm people at stoplights, squeegee their windshield and demand $10 from them. This kind of stuff is what Giuliani went after under Bill Bratton's direction, pretty much, and Giuliani was smart enough to go along with it, and they straightened out New York City pretty much. I mean, they didn't clean up every crime, but they turned it in from a hellhole into a very livable city. And now guess what? Now that de Blasio is instituting policies like this, which are exactly the opposite of what Giuliani and Bratton did, the place is falling, it's falling apart. The same thing with graffiti.
Graffiti.
Am I out of time?
Yes, you are.
Jeez,
That's all right. You just keep the thought in mind, and you'll.
Thank you for not interrupting me for 2
No,
whole
I'm
minutes.
not. I'm not. I'm being very. I'm listening to this diatribe, and I can't believe it. But anyway, I mean, attack Bill de Blasio just wouldn't possibly be that he has a black wife. The reason
Are
everybody.
you saying I'm a racist,
No,
Gino?
not you. I'm just saying. Is
What
the
are you
real,
saying that for then?
Is the real heat?
Why, that's why
is
I'm
the real
criticizing him
heat,
because he
I
has a
think-
black wife?
No,
Are you
not,
serious?
Not you. I know you always criticize. I'm just saying.
Gino,
there's a lot of hatred
you're
for
race
him.
baiting.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
There's a
you
lot-
are.
Let me
That's
finish.
what your side does.
You can answer me after
Everything
the-
comes down to race, doesn't it, huh,
I'm
Gino?
just wondering. I'm just wondering because I mean, he may not qualify as a human.
Yes, you are, Gino.
Anyway.
You're suggesting I'm a racist.
I'm not saying that at all.
Of course you are.
I don't believe that. I defend your right to say what you
Then
say.
stop making statements
I'm
like
just
that,
wondering how you
Gino.
felt that I was laughing this week.
When you
I-
have no arguments, that's it. That's what
No,
your side
no,
does. They
no,
pull
no,
out the
no.
race card.
When Mr.
That's what your side
when
does.
Mr. Trump this week got the backing of Christie, his former deadly enemy from New Jersey, and Christie showed up to attack Rubio for Trump had a talk down in somewhere in Arkansas or Alabama. I really started to laugh because the next day, your boy from Maine, your Maine governor, your strong Republican, I mean, just a tremendous progressive,
Paul LePage.
conservative, Paul LePage, came out and jumped in line.
Progressive?
I mean, progressive Republican, came out behind
He's not progressive.
Christie and said he's supporting Trump.
He did.
What the hell is going on with your group? I don't know. You know, so I think soon they're going to find you at a polling place in Maine voting for Hillary Clinton.
Me?
Because you got nobody.
Me?
Yeah, you've got nobody left.
That'll never happen,
You've got-
Gino.
who are you going to vote for now? What are you down to?
Well, Gino,
Gandhi? I mean,
there
where
is
are
the
you
possibility
these days?
of not voting at all. There's a possibility of writing somebody in. But I would,
Sure, Trim,
I
by the
guess
way.
I would advocate to my side the ABC principle. Anybody but Clinton, right? Because she is just another socialist.
How about
She
ABC,
doesn't
anybody
call
but
herself a
Cruz?
socialist like Bernie does. But like Barack Obama, she is a socialist. She is a follower of Saul Alinsky.
Oh, we're back to Walensky.
Ever
How long has this guy been dead,
Ever
by the way?
since she was
Hold on.
a senior at Wellesley College, when she did her senior thesis on Saul Alinsky, which she refuses
Oh,
to
my God.
release because it would expose exactly what she thinks.
As a
Her-
20-year-old.
Her blueprint for running the country is the same
see.
as, guess where the term community organizer was coined?
Saul Alinsky.
In Saul Alinsky's
Absolutely.
books. That's right. And guess where Saul Alinsky operated? In Chicago.
And Tom,
guess
hold on.
guess who met Saul Alinsky after graduation from
Obama.
high school? Hillary
There
Clinton
you go.
arranged to meet him just before he died.
Yeah.
Barack Obama is a follower
What
of
year
Saul
was that?
Alinsky. And you know what Saul Alinsky said? It was about 1972 that Hillary met him.
Okay, yeah.
And Alinsky, here's the community organizer, what he said. Here's one of his slogans. The issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution. He wants to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Saul Alinsky. Where did we ever hear that slogan before? Oh, was that from Barack Obama? Yes, and he's fundamentally transforming the United States so that it can become a socialist country,
You sure of that,
which
huh?
is, as Lenin said, halfway to communism.
I
It's
see.
just a stepping stone, and that is what your side is,
see.
Gino.
Well,
that is what
maybe my
your
time
side
in a couple
is.
of days.
And they would scrap the Constitution.
You
They
know,
would get rid of it. It is an inhibiting document for
I
them,
see.
saying the revolution. Bernie comes out and says it. I want a political revolution.
Yeah.
But Obama and Hillary won't do that. They'll pretend to go by the Constitution.
Okay, it's my
but
time.
they hate it.
It's my time to react to these overreaching discussions. The Saul Alinsky has been dead for almost 50 years. So therefore, when Hillary Clinton probably had an ache for him, it was probably sometime around
Had a what for him?
1965 or something. When, you know,
A
he's
meeting.
A meeting.
After writing a
Yeah,
thesis.
but so
Yes.
she's a kid, okay? Now, I know a guy who's a radio talk show host, Tom McLaughlin, who actually had a long beard back in the early 70s and actually was a very liberal supporter of democratic processes. Now, what I'm saying is...
I work
you-
with these people.
So then,
Alinskyites, I know
should
them.
people come back and damn you for what you did 50 years ago?
No, Gino,
I mean,
because
that's, but
I
that's
have
what you're
said,
doing.
I was wrong, and I am ashamed.
Well, maybe she feels. Well, let me finish. Maybe she feels
part
wrong.
of my
See,
life.
what your side gives no credence for is that there is growth of different sorts between different people.
I
That
grew
you
up.
can-
They
maybe
didn't.
you grew down. Who knows? The point is, there is growth. You do change your mind. Remember
Yes, you
Churchill
do.
said. But so the point is, you can be a conservative, a liberal, what have you. But there are a lot of meandering things to go through that whole philosophy. It's not just what you want is that Nazi kind of like where everything is certain. You know, we will crush you now. We'll crush you. And
Now I'm a
that's-
Nazi?
No. I'm saying that's the form of life that people on the right enjoy more. They want to be led and told how tomorrow is going to be. That's what you want to do.
That's what I want to do?
No, not you. I'm talking about
That's
the
what
right.
the right wants to do?
No, here you're the instrument, but no, I'm talking the right wing wants to do.
Gino.
What do they want to do with a guy named Trump? He's got 45% of your conservative voters, of Republican voters in the primaries, voting for him. Do you realize all the things he said that draws people into what he's saying? All Mexicans rapists, all this, that.
He never
He's
said
gone-
that.
He said
He
the
never
Mexicans that came in
said
this
that.
country there were rapists and all this. He did. He said he was very
He
mean.
never said that all Mexicans are rapists.
He
That
talked
is
about
not
women's
true.
body size. This fat woman, that fat. I mean, he made fun of
He
a
did.
handicapped
Made
guy.
fun of Rosie
he made
O'Donnell.
fun of a handicapped guy
Hillary's
that worked
buddy.
for him. I mean, for God's sake, what do you need to be? Hit over the hammer to realize you're with a bunch of people that really hate society? They don't love society, and that's why they scream multiculturalism. They see a brown person or a black person or a yellow person. Those people are taking on jobs. That's the way they feel, okay? I've been in hotels all over this country. You know who works in hotels? Cleaning toilets, making beds. Those same brown people that you guys don't want in a multicultural society.
You're saying
I'm
that
sorry,
my
but
side
it's the
is
facts.
racist, huh, Gino?
It's the facts.
This is
You know, they
just,
come into
I got
schools.
another minute to go.
You've been the right wing has been hating people of color
There you
forever.
go. Race card. You
Now,
take it out.
No,
This-
when
this
did they
is
get
it.
nervous? When someone like Trump?
This is Democrat Tourette
Trump,
syndrome.
let me finish.
Racism.
Trump, you're talking right through
Koch
what
brothers.
I'm trying to say.
Racism.
Trump.
Koch brothers.
You through? Trump basically said, that he didn't know much about the KKK. That's what he let on. Well, I don't know really too much. You know, I don't know too much about him. Here's the
I
guy.
don't know Bill Ayers. He's just a guy who
Now,
lives
you
in
know,
my neighborhood.
there's
He's an
one
English
of-
teacher, lives
one
in
of
my
the
neighborhood.
politicians.
terrorist.
I think it's it might be Rubio hitting him about his relationships in the city with the mafia.
That was a lie that Bill Clinton, that Barack Obama told, wasn't it?
I don't know what
It was a lie.
What?
I don't know who Bill Ayers is. He's just an English teacher
Oh,
who lives in my
my
neighborhood.
God,
I don't
some
know him.
quote
That was a
out of
lie,
some
Gino.
right-wing
And guess who
Gino.
let him get away with it?
Oh,
the
my
left-wing media.
Lord.
They didn't scrutinize it at all.
Oh, they were all over him like a cheap
Now
suit.
they're all over
Please.
Trump.
And the Republicans were going to, take him to court. They were going to sue him, and they were going to impeach him, and they weren't going to vote for anything he voted for. Funny. TPP. Oh, yeah, we could vote for that. We could vote for more slavery in the United States. Sure, that's a good idea. Obama's not a liberal. If you think Obama's a liberal, then you're missing the boat.
No,
He's
I don't
not
think
a liberal.
he's a liberal. He's a left-wing
No,
socialist.
left-wing.
That's what he
a tag
is.
you put on him
I
because...
suspect he's a communist.
Oh, my
His
God.
grandparents were communists.
Oh,
His mother
dear.
was a communist.
So why
Frank
can't
Marshall
you-
Davis, his mentor, signed by his grandparents, was a communist, and he's not a communist.
Why can't you believe, then, that Scalia was probably a Nazi?
What? He wasn't a Nazi.
Look at his-
Because
look at
I
his
have
voting
read
record.
Scalia.
Look at
I
his voting
understand
record.
Scalia just like I understand the Alinskyeites because
Oh, my
I was
God.
raised as a conservative Catholic, and that is what Antonin Scalia was. His son, the
Yeah,
priest,
so much.
gave him he had 9 children because he was a
kept going, didn't he?
conservative Catholic. Gino,
Isn't that a
that's what he
shame?
was.
And then he
was a
dies on a dude
classic
ranch.
conservative Catholic,
Dies
as
on a-
am I.
dies
I
on a-
recognize that in him.
Why
okay?
did he go to a dude ranch? He's 80 years old. What's he doing? What's going on?
You have a hard time.
I would
with
love to
facts.
have had him on top. They should
And
have
I
done
recognize Alinskyeites too because I was seduced into working with those
Aha!
Alinsky community organizers when I was young and foolish.
Yeah,
And they're
back in
far
the
to the
day.
left of Kerry. When I went to work for John Kerry's campaign in 1972, my Alinskyite radical
Days were
friends,
over.
they said, "What are you doing? He's not going for a revolution. He wants to work within the system, John Kerry did, so you're
Exactly.
moving to the right." Well, she's John Kerry moving to the right. That's how far left the Alinskyeites are.
I don't know. I think the whole.
That's the way it is. You
I
ought
think
to
the whole
pick up the
concept
book and
is
read
dead.
it.
I think the whole. I mean,
Rules for Radicals.
Let me
Read
finish
it.
this sentence, will you?
You know
How
when
do
he dedicated Rules for Radicals when he first wrote the book? To Lucifer, the first community organizer.
How's it doing for him now?
Lucifer.
How's it doing for him now? I mean, in all honesty, how's it working for Alinsky now? He dedicated a book to Lucifer.
He's probably
What's
with
that?
Lucifer now.
What's that? Maybe he is, but what's the point? You see, I don't understand the point. He dedicates
What's
a
the
book
point?
to yeah, because you know what?
Because he said Lucifer was the first community organizer, and that is an
Oh,
allusion
my God.
to.
If you believe in
I'm
Lucifer-
alluding to the idea that radical leftist
man.
communism is evil. As
I
Reagan
see.
said,
Okay.
it's the evil empire.
Now, can I take
I
a
think
minute?
that was
can
about
I take
right.
a minute now? Here's the thing, and it's how is communism doing for the communist countries? China. This is not a question.
Not
China is basically going in, been in a system much like our own, except for the Declaration.
Yeah,
of
they
Independence.
are moving toward
Yeah, they're moving
a
in
free
a
enterprise
society where you got a
economy.
bunch of people work for nothing, and the money all flows to the top 1%, etc. All over the world, communism has failed miserably. Now, would you
Yes, it
expect
has.
us to believe that somebody
it has.
like
We
Mr.
agree on that.
Mr. Obama thinks, hey, I got a great idea. Communism really works. That doesn't work.
Yes.
It doesn't
No,
work.
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't work. It
Right.
never has worked.
Right.
It's only worked through, the hammer and sickle and the person said to get him to do something. So it has never worked. But the United States has been frightened of it for years and years. Because the theory of
Yes.
socialism is that all people are equal. You see?
Not phobic. We have been afraid of it.
We've been
And
afraid
it's
of
not
it
an
for years.
unreasonable fear.
It's why we've got a Labor Day, okay? And why Labor Day is in September. Because they were afraid that we would be May Day like the rest of the communist world back in the 30s.
Yeah, I think
That's the
that's
truth.
true. Yep.
So the point is, wait, oops, I lost my little clipping here. But and that's what we've been told. That's what we've been told, that communism is going to get us. But you know something? It won't. It can't. And as a matter of fact, as we're talking about Russia now, Russia is this a little time. Russia is not communist. They're becoming much more like us.
Soviet Union did collapse.
Of course
That
they
is
did.
correct.
So what are
And
you people worried about? Why are you
China
worried? I don't
is
understand
still
that.
officially communist, but it has been deregulating its economy.
Yeah.
That's what it's been doing. And what's our side doing? We have been a free enterprise economy, and now we are hyper-regulating our economy. So we're moving toward what China used to be, and China is moving toward what we used to be. And guess whose economy is growing much faster? The Chinese economy.
What hasn't
Since
been
they
lately-
deregulated their economy, it has been growing in leaps and bounds. Okay? What's happening to our economy under the Barack Obama recovery? It is not. It is in a continual recession. We're
We have
growing
one
at the
more-
rate of less than 1%.
Okay, I've got a final question from top management because we're running down the score here. If a third-party candidate such as Jesse Ventura or Michael Bloomberg were to enter the race, how would it likely affect the election?
Take votes away from Hillary. If Bloomberg entered the race, even if he entered as a former Republican,
We
he
should
would take
predict-
away from Hillary. If Trump were to enter the race, it would take votes away from the Republicans. If he didn't get the Republican nomination and ran as a third party, this could all happen. I think even Bernie Sanders could. If 40% of the Democrat rank and file has identified in several polls recently as socialists.
Yeah. Well,
They
that's
are.
good.
You're the party of socialism.
That's right.
Yes, you are. And so if he doesn't, those people, they don't want Hillary Clinton because they don't trust her.
Okay.
She's untrustworthy. 60% of the American people think she has a problem
You made your
with
point.
honesty
On
and
that question,
trustworthiness.
Ventura and Bloomberg, neither one will enter the race. If they enter the race,
Ventura?
it wouldn't make much. Jesse Ventura, the crazy former
He's talking
governor,
about
and so on.
running?
He-
Oh, my.
He can run all he wants. He'd be like Joe the
I
plumber.
hadn't
Joe
heard
the
that.
plumber run. How many votes would he get? Well, the point is, the guy's a goofball. World
Ventura?
Wrestling. Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
screwy.
he is. He's
And then
nuts.
Bloomberg, he's got $90 billion, and he's so rich. He's just another fruit. But
He's
the
a
point
liberal.
is, if either one of them entered the election, it wouldn't matter. And we've had some good battles this time. This has been getting into some really heavy stuff, and I really think that think you're a racist. I don't. And I know I would never say that.
And why do you bring that up about Bloomberg?
Because
I mean,
Jake
the current
Bloomberg.
mayor.
You know what? We got to
de
go now.
Blasio,
But
because
we're gonna take this up in
he
2
doesn't
more
wanna hear
weeks.
it.
We're gonna take this up in 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. See you, folks.
Yeah.